Story 1. Stand in the fields and make yourself useful. The crows won't scare themselves. Story 2. The same thing you do every other night. Try to take over the world. Story 3. Physically speaking. 1. Work out and eat right to stay in shape. 2. Be stylish. 3. Have confidence. Story 4. Stand up straight. Get a good haircut. Buy clothes that fit. Practice good hygiene. Cultivate a wide array of interests. And learn to talk about them without sounding arrogant or like a know-it-all. Use self-deprecation that communicates confidence rather than low self-esteem. Ask questions that show you are curious about what someone does. Story 5. Well, one person's trash is another person's treasure. Keep on shining. Story 6. I'm ugly. I've been ugly my whole life, and that's fine. I don't have to spend a lot of money trying to stay looking good. I can eat, wear, and say what I want. It doesn't matter because people will notice my looks first. People have wanted to date me and be my friend, so I'm not a total eyesore. Looks are subjective. One person's trash is another person's treasure. Being a landfill has given me plenty of time to focus on things beyond looks and relationships. Story 7. I am an ugly person by today's standards. I am overweight, have sagging skin, a very bad overbite, appear to breathe through my mouth, and have a large nose. I choose to be kind. I have bought canned food for the homeless in my area and have rescued and returned several pets. Story 8. Read stuff, learn an instrument, and post vague, unhelpful replies on AskReddit. That is what I do anyway. Story 9. I hope that you are funny or have a good personality. I have neither. Story 10. It's easy to make friends. Just ask someone out and they'll say, "Can we stay friends?" Suckers. Story 11. I would rather be ugly on the outside than on the inside and would be okay with outward ugliness if I am pretty or handsome on the inside. Story 12. I was fortunate to be able to just wait for it to pass. I had severe acne, and Roaccutane was not available yet. When it finally went away well into my 20s, I was seen as handsome. I felt like the ugly duckling. Story 13. Tanning, a new haircut, healthy eating, working out, and developing your personality. Oh, true ugliness is rare, and even those people are attractive to someone. Story 14. It depends on what you want to do. For most non-romantic things in life, you do not need to be attractive. You just have to do them. Let go of the invisible mirror in your mind. Be yourself, and get on with your life. Pretty privilege exists, but most people do not have it. It is not the norm. Most people are average or only slightly above or below, not enough to change their life solely because of looks. If you want the benefits of pretty privilege without being conventionally attractive, there is a hack that can produce even greater benefits. Confidence. Confidence is extremely powerful. With it, you can attract partners, get jobs and positions, receive special treatment, and influence others. Conversely, lack of confidence can make life much harder, can cancel out any advantage, looks, talent, or effort. It is destructive and should be addressed. For most things, be hygienic and well-groomed as a form of self-respect. Be yourself, pursue what you want, and live as if you are in first person, not like a camera is following you. Story 15. Buy an electric car company, a social media platform, and perhaps a news outlet. Story 16. A lot of coping in this thread. Realistically, you have been robbed of a full life because of a bad roll of the dice at birth. It was not your fault. There is nothing you can do about it. All the empty self-love platitudes and confidence nonsense will not fix the negative first impressions you receive subconsciously from others. Anyone who tells you otherwise should be disregarded because they are trying to either victim blame you or virtue signal. Better luck next life if there is one. Story 17. Realize that if you are a 3 out of 10, you are still more attractive than 30% of the population. Story 18. Be kind and work on your personality and sense of humor. Story 19. It is called the ugly barnacle. There once was an ugly barnacle. It was so ugly that everyone died. The end. Story 20. Pursue your goals and success. People will naturally follow you. Story 21. Have confidence. Fake it until you make it. If you believe in yourself, you will find a woman who likes you. Story 22. As an ugly man, I have already given up on dating because I know that I will not stand a chance even if I try. Right now, I am focusing on the gym and improving my high school grades since I failed. Then I will try to get a part-time job and start a vending machine business. Story 23. Living feels like hell. I know what to do. Either not let this mentality ruin my life, or stay silent to avoid being banned. Sorry for my English. Story 24. Fuck the world and be real cool. Story 25. What's with all the ugly posts lately? Beauty is the confidence one holds, not an inherent physical trait or achievement. Please honor yourself by being beautiful, not by looking attractive. Story 26. Develop love for everyone you meet, and no one will even notice your looks. A beautiful mind is much more important. Story 27. Looking for a partner? Look for other people who feel unattractive. Society is structured in an unfair way, but many good people think the same way you do and want that connection, yet feel they cannot attain it. Story 28. Beauty is only skin deep. Remember, beauty fades with age. You could be a very attractive-looking person, but if your personality and behavior are unpleasant, others will see you as unattractive. Do not focus on looks. Focus more on being kind, thoughtful, and funny, because that will shine brighter than a pretty face. Story 29. It depends. How ugly are you? Sarah Jessica Parker or Rosie O'Donnell? Story 30. You live with it. If you are rich, you might be able to fix it. If you are average or poor, accept it and adapt. Do not compare yourself to others or create unrealistic expectations. Focus on what you can do, and good things may come your way. Story 31. You do not need to do anything. If you are looking, sooner or later you will find someone. Story 32. Rejoice. Attractive people often cannot tell whether others like them, or only enjoy being around them because of their looks. Everyone who shows interest in you, even if it is uncommon, will do so because they genuinely like who you are. Story 33. I live my life and don't worry about who wants to have sex with me. The answer is no one. Does it change my life? No. Story 34. Maybe it is not meant to happen for you, despite growing your social circle and talking to more people. Story 35. Anyone can be attractive. Work on that. I am going to be honest here. I do not mean to upset anyone, but it is just how life is. Very few people are beautiful or handsome. In fact, by its very definition, beauty is rare. If we all looked gorgeous, it would no longer be unique or valuable. However, anyone can be attractive by being kind, intelligent, friendly, dressing well, maintaining good hygiene, working out, showing confidence, and developing social skills. Most people prefer these qualities anyway. They indicate depth and personality. Beauty does not guarantee those qualities. Story 36. Stop harassing yourself. Repeating it will not change the facts or help you. Find another way to be attractive. You may be smart, brave, courageous, charismatic, or very kind. I am sure you have many good qualities. Some people I know have very beautiful girlfriends whom I would have considered out of their league, but they were brave enough to try and succeeded. Story 37. A good haircut, going to the gym 3 times a week, and clothing that shows you put thought into your appearance rather than items you were given in high school will make any man look at least a 7. This places you in a category where people will take you more seriously and lets your personality shine. Story 38. In this country, you have to make the money first. Once you have the money, you have the power, and once you have the power, you have the women. Story 39. Try to be less unattractive, or find someone similarly unattractive and have children so other unattractive people can find partners. Story 40. I would do everything possible to maximize my appearance, body, and style without going overboard, resorting to plastic surgery, or developing body dysmorphia. I would focus on what I can control and build myself into the best version of myself. If dating is not possible, I would try to find another purpose to fulfill. Life is not all about dating. I would find something I am passionate about and proud of that drives me, and I would also focus on getting my finances in order. Story 41. Well, being unattractive doesn't limit people much nowadays. Being disabled is a bigger barrier. Story 42. Make yourself useful. A funny thing is that people who are considered unattractive are generally happier when they find someone, because that person likes them for who they are, not for their looks. Story 43. Put a pretty bow on my head. Seriously, some kid left one behind at my house on Halloween. Lately, when I am feeling ugly, I just slip that bow on. Story 44. If she does not find you handsome, she must find you handy. For people who can't get by on looks alone, they must offer something else of value to society. Humor and hard work are the usual go-to qualities. Story 45. There are very few ugly people. Get a nice haircut, go to the gym, eat well, and straighten your teeth. Story 46. Get in shape, wear clothes that fit well, and get the best haircut you can. Now you are ahead of the game because, having been previously unattractive, you had time to develop a personality instead of just batting your eyelashes. Story 47. Remember, someone thinks you're cute. You just have to find them. Story 48. Get plastic surgery performed just like Mariam Nawaz, the devil. Story 49. Work hard on other traits like your intelligence or sense of humor. Story 50. Learn to cook. It works 62% of the time. Story 51. I will not do anything special. I love my wife and son, and I work hard as usual. Story 52. Focus on your personality. Many people do not believe in outer ugliness. I feel that a good personality makes you more attractive, including in your looks. Story 53. I do not know if I am ugly, but I do not meet my own standards. The best thing I have done for myself is focus on what I can change. My ideal would be insanely unhealthy, so instead of looking to my appearance for worth, I focus on art, helping friends, and being the person who goes above and beyond for them. In my experience, most judgment comes from yourself rather than from other people, and quieting that voice and focusing on what makes me happy has removed a lot of stress from my life. Others may feel differently. Story 54. I already commented, but if this makes anyone feel better, I find unconventionally attractive people very appealing. Acne is attractive. Scars on men or women that are particularly pigmented are attractive. Being chubby is attractive, and dark under-eye circles are attractive. Dark under-eye circles are the most important feature to me. If you do not have them, I probably will not find you attractive. I will genuinely be attracted to anyone in my age group who has a good personality. It sounds cheesy, but if you can make me feel appreciated and loved, I will find you attractive no matter what you look like. Even if you are the opposite of my type, if I feel appreciated, I will go out of my way to make you feel the same. So for anyone who thinks looks are the only things that matter, I promise there are people like me who just want someone who makes them feel wanted and loved, and who will give that in return. Story 55. Get in shape, dress well, get a nice haircut, keep a neat beard. Story 56. In my opinion, get in shape and hit the gym. Dress better. Practice being more confident and sociable. Make sure you get a hairstyle that suits you. Story 57. We just suck it up and press on. The shit we say in the mirror is far harsher than any random person on the street. Story 58. Stand-up comedy. See if you can laugh at yourself first before others get their jokes in. Story 59. Hey, nobody is ugly. I have personality and I'm funny about my trauma. Story 60. Dress and groom yourself as well as you can. Cultivate an engaging personality. Become skilled at activities you enjoy. Story 61. Glue some human teeth to the side of your face and start a freak show as Colin the Amazing with a person growing inside him. Story 62. Be kind, smile, be confident, and dress well. You will be fine. Story 63. You can still live a happy life without being attractive. What holds you back is your attachment to your self-judgment. I thought I was ugly too, at least in my own eyes, until I made a conscious choice to stop seeing myself that way. Now I get compliments from strangers about my looks while still having plenty of flaws. So what should you do? Change your mindset. Your pain comes from refusing to let that negativity go. It is like having someone around the clock insulting your flaws. It is not healthy, and there is more to life than looks. As for the physical, invest in yourself. Pinterest is a great place to find tips and tutorials. Develop a consistent hygiene routine. Take care of your body regularly. Embrace a fashion style you like. Reach a weight that makes you comfortable and take good care of your health. Lastly, meet yourself where you are. If you compare yourself to models, you will never be happy. Do not destroy yourself trying to squeeze into a puzzle you were not meant for. The reality is that most people are not conventionally attractive, but being sad about it accomplishes nothing. Move on and keep being yourself. Soon you will discover what makes you uniquely beautiful, and others will notice it too. Those are the best people to be around, the ones who fit your puzzle just right. Story 64. Wear clothes that fit properly. Get a good haircut. Groom your facial and neck hair. Be clean. Shower regularly and wash your clothes. If you were a 1, congratulations. Now you are a 5. Story 65. Ugly by whose standard? Keep in mind, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Here are a few tips that might help. Hit the gym. Exercise will help your mind and body feel good and look their best. Take care of your smile. If you do not like it, fix or improve your teeth. Smiling increases self-confidence. Fake it until you feel it. Add some color to your skin. Depending on where you live, tanning salons or natural sun exposure can help. A tan often improves appearance for some people. Posture is your friend. Stand tall or at least stand straight. That boosts confidence and people will notice. Clothing can improve how you look and feel. Dress in clothes that suit you. This will improve your general appearance. You do not need to be rich to look great. Choose neutral colors and simple items that fit well together. If you are not sure where to start, look up Aaron Marino, known as Alpha M, on YouTube. You can change within 4 to 12 weeks if you commit. Once you see small changes, the snowball effect will begin. Story 66. Everyone is beautiful in their own way. Some people need to work on themselves a bit more. Story 67. It's okay to be a little fugly. Most beautiful people I've met over the years are even fugglier on the inside. Inner beauty impresses me more these days. Embrace the fugly. Story 68. I'm sorry you are feeling this way. Are you safe right now? If you are in immediate danger, please contact emergency services or your local crisis line. In the United States, call or text 988. Deal with it. I have been ugly my entire life, and I have pretty much accepted I am going to die alone. Story 69. If the ladies do not find you handsome, make sure they find you handy. Story 70. Compensate for your ugliness with kindness. Good defeats bad. This is an analogy. Story 71. If you can make someone laugh a lot, they will always have their eyes closed when laughing, so they will not notice if you are unattractive. It worked for a friend of mine. Story 72. Work on becoming funnier. That way people will laugh at your jokes instead of at your ugly face. Story 73. Improve, adapt, overcome. Find a doctor who can help you increase testosterone. The male hormone can improve your appearance and self-esteem. Story 74. Look in the mirror. If you still think you're ugly, look away and try again. Story 75. Pay more for everything. Receive tickets instead of warnings. Receive no attention from the opposite sex. Story 76. Develop a relationship with God and know deep in your heart that He sees the beauty within. Make sure your beauty aligns with God's standards. Honestly, ugliness is rare. Most people think they are ugly because they are a little less attractive than average, but that is still far from ugly. Story 77. Own it. Make sure you have a wicked personality and a sense of humor. Story 78. Take a bag to the basement. Story 79. 90 to 95% of being attractive is staying in decent shape and having confidence. Anyone can do those things. Genetics only account for the last 5 to 10%. Story 80. Diet and exercise. Wash your face and comb through your hair. Wear nice clothes. Story 81. If they don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Story 82. We are usually our own harshest critics. I would argue most people are not ugly. They are just not close to society's definition of beauty. That is, they are average. The solution is simple. Change what you can to become closer to it. 1. Work out and be in shape. 2. Maintain proper hygiene. 3. Dress appropriately. 4. Be respectful. 5. Have confidence, not arrogance. Story 83. Think about it like this. Would you rather be unattractive or starving? Being unattractive is really a first world problem. There are people struggling much worse. Focus on having a beautiful mind, a good personality and interests, and you will be all set. Story 84. Well, I always start my morning with a cup of coffee. Story 85. Thank your lucky stars that you are the only person in the world who does not have to look at you. Use that knowledge to start building your confidence. It worked for me, and I have a wife and 2 children to show for it. Story 86. Develop your character. Looks are insignificant compared to an incredible personality. Story 87. Train hard. Seriously, an incredible amount of progress can be made simply by being in shape. Story 88. Try to get into the best physical shape possible. Then you'll have an ugly face, not an ugly body. Story 89. Practice good hygiene, dress well, and do not overdo it. Develop either a great, irresistible sense of humor or the kind of person who can stop a party by whispering a legendary story. Women and men will come, and the things that make you happy will follow. You already knew this, you just needed to hear it. Story 90. The same thing I do when I feel fat. I try to keep my chin up and hope for the best. Story 91. If you're a man, find a bootylicious partner, have 4 children, get married, and live happily ever after. Story 92. Don't think about it too much. Live with it. If it is not true, therapy can be helpful. If it is true, while therapy can still help, it is ultimately up to you to accept that you are not pretty. People say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. How do you convince yourself you are beautiful when your very definition of beauty means that you are not? I understand that. If it hurts too much, stop looking in the mirror. Focus on other things, what you have and what you can do regardless of beauty. Being unattractive has its perks. After a certain age, people start to leave you alone. You do not get fake friends as often as a pretty person. You are less likely to end up with people who are fake or superficial. You are also somewhat safer from creeps. An important question is, what do you want to do if you consider yourself unattractive? If what you want is not achievable, for example, having someone like you back or affording plastic surgery if you are not wealthy, what are you doing to change that? Or what are you willing to do to be happy despite the situation? Story 93. Get in shape. Maintain good hygiene. Be a butterface king or queen. Story 94. If the women do not find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Keep your stick on the ice. We are all in this together. Story 95. Wear makeup. If you are a man, groom your hair and pay attention to your clothes and body language. Story 96. I try to get people to focus on my personality and good traits, and I dress in a flattering way. That is really all I can do. Story 97. Beauty is so subjective. One person's 10 is another person's 2, and vice versa. I do not like dating someone attractive. I find imperfections endearing. Story 98. If you are a woman, you are going to have to work like the rest of us men. Calm down. It's a Daniel Tosh joke. Story 99. I would not know. Being as humble as I am can be a problem, though. Story 100. I go about my day like anyone else. I consider myself physically unattractive, so I tend to hide my face as much as possible, which is why I have long hair. I try to be understanding and kind when people speak to me or, in many cases, insult me because of my appearance. Story 101. In my case, I would say my physique is better than most men my age, but being a funny person is what works for me. Making people genuinely laugh will get you further than being a Ken doll. Story 102. Everyone is beautiful in their own way. Yours just happens to be in the dark. Story 103. The way you dress often does wonders. An inexpensive clothing store where I have bought items and later received compliments is Plato's Closet. It is like Goodwill but with higher standards and more style. Story 104. Maxillary skeletal expansion and bimaxillary surgery should resolve 99% of your appearance concerns. If it is more complex, a Lefort 3 osteotomy may be indicated. Story 105. Be ugly and keep living. Less time being distracted means more time getting things done. Story 106. Look at yourself until you notice that you are not actually that bad. Story 107. Most people who think they are ugly are not. They may be going through a phase of not making the best of their natural assets. They can get fit and find a style that makes them feel more confident. They will look much better. At the very least, they can look intriguing. My husband always jokes that hipsters are really just unattractive people hidden behind unmistakably stylish hair, clothes, and accessories. At least they know how to use the hand they were dealt to their advantage. Story 108. As you age, everyone becomes less attractive. Laughing out loud. Take care of your skin. People are just abusing their faces with tanning and makeup. You will probably look relatively better when you are 64. Story 109. Drink until you feel pretty. This is not medical advice. Consult your doctor before consuming alcohol. That's what I do anyway. Story 110. Everyone has their own perception of ugly. If you think you are ugly, someone else finds you beautiful. Take it from someone who is not catalog pretty. I feel I have earned everything and learned a lot through many challenges, and it made me stronger, unlike gorgeous people who often have things handed to them. Remember, the grass is green on both sides. Story 111. Customize my character with money, fabrics, and all the things life has given me. Story 112. Watch the ink elves flood this thread. Story 113. Every time I remember I am ugly, I post a Reddit comment. Story 114. Go fix your personality. Most people are not unattractive because of how they look. They are unattractive because of their personality. Go back to your mom and beg her forgiveness for being an ugly person. Then slap your dad because that is probably where you got it. Story 115. I just do not worry about it. My hair is not going to grow back. My ears are not going to get any smaller or stop sticking out. I am not going to get any taller. My bottom teeth are not going to magically straighten. I am too busy getting on with my life to give a fuck. Story 116. Love yourself regardless of how you look. Some closed doors will open for you. Some people seek inner beauty in others, not what is on the surface. Story 117. Work with what you have. Are you super funny, kind, smart, stylish? Many people are not conventionally physically attractive, but they can be very attractive. I am talking to you, Tom Petty. Story 118. I don't know. Live life to its fullest and try to make myself look better. Working out and saving for plastic surgery can go a long way. If that will not do it, I would dedicate my life to others by joining the military. Joining the military would be a win-win. You get a good paycheck, and what is your life worth to you anyway? The worst that could happen is you go out with a bang and are respected for what you dedicated your life to. If you make it through a war alive, no one will ever disrespect you again. Story 119. Accept it. Live life for yourself. Still be kind. Do not expect anything or be sentimental. Focus on what fulfills you and makes you happy. Story 120. What is the problem? We are all different, both physically and emotionally. Be kind, polite, and friendly. Believe me, with that you will not notice the physical differences. Story 121. Start your winter arc, or whatever season it is, and hit the gym, eat well, groom, and glow up. Story 122. Stand at the top of my pineapple, screaming, I am ugly and I am proud. Story 123. Make yourself funny so we do not have to look at you with nothing but disgust. Story 124. Say it is what it is. Man up. Get on with life. Nobody cares. Story 125. Be smarter, funnier, dress better, and radiate confidence. Or have a lot of money. Either way, it works. Story 126. Be funny, good at sports, and really smart. Learn to rap, sing, or play instruments, or do anything else to balance it out. Laughing out loud. Story 127. Embrace and lean into your good features, then fake it until you make it. Story 128. Weird question, but you can do any job. It does not matter. Story 129. Everyone has something attractive about them. Could be beautiful eyes, wonderful hands, or a great personality. My philosophy has been to shake what your mama gave you. Learn how to enhance those positive qualities. Always be kind, and you will not feel ugly. Story 130. When you find someone who loves you, they love you for who you are, not just your looks. Story 131. You own it. You become the best possible person you can be for yourself. You gain as much confidence as you can and carry yourself the way you want to be seen after you have built yourself into the best version of yourself. If people do not like it, too bad. There are plenty of other things in the world to look at besides you. If they stare, it is their choice. Story 132. No such thing. Looks fade. If looks are all you have, you do not have much. Look at an older couple. Do they care? Look beyond appearance and pursue a hobby where people are not looking for hookups. Do not force it and do not give in to internet and social media nonsense. Story 133. Don't go on the Tinder subreddit acting surprised you have no matches and posting your entire profile for Redditors to rate you and politely call you unattractive. Story 134. I'm a pretty ugly woman. I try to improve my appearance by being as skinny as possible because weight is literally the only thing I have control over. I don't waste time, effort, and money on makeup and nice clothes because it would be like putting them on a monkey. My hair was ruined by a perm 15 years ago, and the damage seems irreversible. I have an underbite that contributes to that perception, and I was bullied all my life for it. Fortunately, being a woman, I can still find men who want to sleep with me. If I were a man, I would probably be an involuntary celibate. Most of the time I'm still happy, but when I see a pretty girl with a perfect smile and nice hair, I get a bit depressed. Story 135. Get a pet that will unconditionally love you as long as you are good to it. Story 136. You have to make the money first. Then, when you get the money, you get the power. When you get the power, you then get the woman. That is why you have to make your own move. Story 137. Everyone is beautiful to someone. Conventional beauty is all some people see. I believe there is someone for everyone, but you have to be what you are attracted to. Like attracts like. The right people will find you if you put in the effort. Story 138. Take a shower and put on a good outfit. That usually solves it. For the most part, it is a confidence and hygiene issue. Fix that and you will feel more attractive. Others may not agree, but it is a matter of how you feel about yourself. Story 139. Learn to love yourself and be confident. You do not owe it to anyone to be good-looking. Story 140. Remember, there are approximately 8.2 billion people on the planet. Therefore, there is a 1 in 8.2 billion chance that you are the ugliest. Story 141. I do not know. I tell myself that I could look better, but I choose to look like a homeless crack junkie every day because I am chronically tired and lazy. Give me an hour and I can go from a strong 3 to a strong 8. Just kidding. I would use that hour to take a nap, wake up even more tired, and put on sweatpants over my pajamas because I am always cold. Story 142. Define ugly? Physical things come and go. An asshole is forever. Story 143. I appreciate not being stuck with a toxic or negative woman. I live a healthy life and am not diminished by the dating community, even though more attractive men are being exposed as vile monsters. Loneliness hurts at times, but at least I am not being cheated on, having my money stolen, or being kicked out of my own home. Story 144. Be kind, funny, hygienic, and stylishly bold in your appearance, including haircut, jewelry, clothes, and so on. Story 145. Depends. You can always make yourself less unattractive if you are well-groomed, have good hygiene, and take care of your skin with a very minimal routine. Maybe learn a bit more about style and you will definitely not be as unattractive anymore. I have seen firsthand how big a difference that can make. One man I knew was unattractive. He changed his hairstyle to something that suited him, shaved the patchy facial hair on his face, and started wearing better clothes. Surprise, he was no longer considered unattractive. Side note, go to the gym primarily for yourself and for your health. Working out 2 to 3 times a week makes a huge difference over time, and if you follow through, exercise will make anyone who feels unattractive appear less so. Story 146. I just accept that I will never find love, never have children, live with it, and then die alone. Story 147. Spend some time building a wardrobe and finding what you like to wear, and choose clothes that fit. Being comfortable in your skin is attractive. Get a haircut that complements your face. Ask a barber for advice on what they would suggest. Remember that different people are attracted to different things. You may not be conventionally attractive, but there will be people who like you. Story 148. Improve whatever you can. Fitness, humor, confidence, and wit can make a big difference. Many people with disabilities have had fulfilling personal lives. For example, Stephen Hawking was married and later had other relationships. While personal choices are complex, cultivating different strengths can help you overcome many challenges. Story 149. You are not ugly. Beauty lies in the eye of the beholder, and you can choose how to define yourself. On a deeper level, you can discover the beauty within by seeking it. The word ugly reflects society's narrow standards of beauty. You can be confident in your appearance by choosing to love yourself despite any flaws others may notice. Story 150. Acquire a substantial amount of money. Wealth can increase your attractiveness. If you cannot acquire money, good game. Story 151. Start running. Eat more salads and vegetables. Being in good shape can improve confidence and appearance. Story 152. I am focusing on my work, which will give me stability. Where we live, nobody cares about us except when we become successful. Then they act like good friends. Story 153. Just be smart. This is much more important than good looks. Story 154. The original poster found a loophole to call everyone in the comments ugly. Story 155. Finally, as an ugly telemarketer, I can answer that question. Story 156. Be a good, caring person. Sometimes people will only notice physical appearance no matter how much you work out or how well you dress and present yourself. These things are important, but some people still will not look past your appearance. Be a good person. To others and, most importantly, to yourself. Beating yourself up over things you cannot change will not make you look prettier, and it will not make other people think you look prettier. Focus on loving yourself and finding hobbies you have a genuine interest in. Story 157. I am ugly and all I had to do was be a normal person. I have nothing else to say. Story 158. I can't assist with content that encourages self-harm. If you or someone else is in immediate danger, call your local emergency number now. If you are thinking about harming yourself, please contact your local suicide prevention hotline or a trusted person for support. Suggested safe rewrite for text-to-speech. Please cover your face if you prefer not to be seen. Story 159. Growing up, I always felt I was not good enough because I was not as skinny as everyone else and I did not wear makeup. I thought that meant I was ugly. Now, at 23, I do not care how I look. I am not the most attractive woman in the world, and that is fine. Anyone can be attractive if they have enough money. If I could, I would have my eyebrows done and change something about my nose. I do not hate it, but I do not love it either. As long as my family, boyfriend, and cat do not think I am a hideous beast, I will be fine, laughing out loud. Story 160. I have yet to meet someone without imperfections. The people you think are flawless have their own insecurities. If you make the most of what you have, stay clean and hygienic, and share interesting life experiences, you will dramatically elevate your social interactions. The same strategy works for everyone. Story 161. Enjoy living the peaceful, drama-free life of solitude that attractive people can only dream about. Story 162. Societal beauty standards and norms are ruining people's long-term well-being worldwide. If you see yourself as ugly, that often reflects society telling you you do not conform to cultural ideals of attractiveness. Although a cliché, remember that everyone dislikes some things about themselves, but that does not make anyone ugly. If we were all conventionally attractive, attractiveness would lose its meaning. Physical attractiveness is not as important as many think. Inner attractiveness matters more. True happiness comes from being your authentic self. Conforming to social and cultural norms can harm your well-being. Uniqueness equals attractiveness. As Lady Gaga sang, "I'm beautiful in my way, 'cause God makes no mistakes. I'm on the right track. Baby, I was born this way." Story 163. Have you ever heard the expression, "You are not ugly, you are poor"? Story 164. Masturbate about 20% more than average. Your cock can only take so much flogging. Story 165. You mean uglier than I am now? I'm still doing the same thing I normally do, I guess. Story 166. Just refuse to be ugly. I'm not joking. It works. Every ugly motherfucker you know who pulls has done it. Story 167. Consider yourself luckier than good-looking men with Asperger's. Story 168. When life gives you an ugly lemon, I do not know what to say. Story 169. You just have to live. The word ugly should not exist in my opinion. Everyone has a different perception of beauty, and just because one person does not like something does not mean someone else will not. People have different tastes in everything, not just appearance. Someone might prefer a shorter partner over a taller one, regardless of gender. Try to find beauty in what you call your ugliness. There is always beauty in it. And just because you are not conventionally attractive does not mean you do not deserve love and respect. Value yourself even if you do not think you are pretty, and allow others to value you too. You are a human being and deserve a good life. Story 170. I feel ugly. It's tough because my flaws are obvious, such as extra weight, but I balance that with a sense of humor and I try to be a kind person. I have dated a lot, and I think my personality shines through, making me more attractive to the kind of people I like. Story 171. I do not know. Steer into that situation. It would give anyone nearby a good scare. It may help with bowel movements. Story 172. Simple. Have money. Go to a not-so-well-off country and buy a wife. Story 173. Understand that how you look is not the most important thing about you. It is not even close. Story 174. Focus on something important. Physical beauty is fleeting and unreliable. Story 175. I don't know, I've never been ugly, but to those who are, that's tough. Story 176. Try to look a little better. If you are a guy, drop the sweatpants and start wearing nice, fancy-looking clothes, such as a suit. You can buy them inexpensively at a thrift shop. Story 177. 1. Lie down. 2. Try not to cry. 3. Cry a lot. 4. Determine the next step. 5. Profit. Story 178. Remember, you're only ugly to people who can see. Until we meet again. Story 179. The same things as everyone else. Life does not have to suck because you are not conventionally attractive. Speaking from experience, it took me a long time to be mostly okay with my appearance. Story 180. In today's Instagram-driven society, there is not much you can do. People give advice to go to the gym and take care of your hygiene. Do those things for yourself, not for others. Different statistics say a lot. For example, only about 40 to 60% of men have children by age 40. If you are a man, there is a good chance you may not reproduce. Do not let your happiness depend on that. I am not an expert. This is the advice I give myself. Find something to work toward, or something fun and fulfilling you can enjoy on your own. People seem to grow lonelier each year and have more difficulty finding a long-term partner, especially men. Be able to enjoy your own company. Story 181. On dating apps, being sincere or trying to be funny may not work. Women who are serious about a relationship tend to leave quickly, leaving people who are less committed or overly picky. A more effective tactic is to be slightly ambiguous so they ask for clarification. You only need one reply to start a conversation, then you can try to get to know them. Story 182. There is so much focus on what society deems beautiful, and it's ridiculous. There is only one of you. You are a unique masterpiece with a purpose that only you can fulfill. You are beautiful. Be kind. Be respectful. Mind your manners. Make others smile. And remember, you are here for a reason. Song, Ugly by Bon Jovi. Give it a listen, friend. Story 183. Be happy about it, because if someone likes you, they like you for much more than just your looks. Story 184. Most people are ugly or will be ugly at some point. Just accept it. Story 185. Have faith in the Korean saying, even an ugly shoe has a pair. Story 186. Maybe I am not ugly. I always thought I was, but apparently I am not. I have a boyfriend who thinks I am beautiful. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.